Marie, is it? Yeah. Marie, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Marie, sit in that chair. It's higher.
Oh, thank you.
Pauline Jackson, apology, he had to head out to a meeting.
Yep.
Kia ora koutou. So this is my personal submission now on behalf of myself. I put my submission is quite long, and the reason it's long is I really actually care about these issues and I put a lot of thought into it. But in the interest of time, I'll concentrate on a couple of points. I put in my submission that image that's come from the IPCC report about what the projected temperature rises are for different age groups. So my dad, who's in his 70s, likely to see 1 to 1.5 degree rise in his lifetime. Myself, in my 40s, 1.5 to 2.5. But it's actually the bit that really upsets me is my children, who are likely to see 2 to 3.5 degree. 1.5 degrees is already considered very low for this generation. Now, I love my kids. We all love our kids and we want to do right by them. And that's what I think. What are we doing mucking around? What are we actually doing? The scientists have told us we need to halve our emissions by 2030 and we need to go faster and we need to take it seriously. That's 7 years away. And that's why I am so strongly in support of cycleways and in support of investment in bus lanes in the public transport system. I myself and our family, we have been working really hard at this and we have reduced the Ks driven by 40%. And, you know, I think we've done that because of buses and because of cycleways. I often use that Quarryman's Trail. And, you know, I have immense sympathy for people who find change really hard. It's hard when things change. It's actually really hard to even come to terms with the reality of the situation. It is hard. But I also think it is actually on all of us to put the priority on our children, not on ourselves. And, you know, I think that when people get their head around this, when they actually do get their head around this, they will also agree. And that's why I have the view I do on rate rises. A local government is quite constrained in the mechanisms it has to raise money. And I am less concerned about keeping rate rises low for myself now and more concerned with my children's future. And I am not rich by any means, and the cost of living is biting, but it is something I really care about. And some of the other issues I've raised, ecological restoration, I think you probably know my views on that. And the other one I do want to mention was the uniform annual charge, because while I am prepared to pay more in rates, I do absolutely acknowledge that for some people they actually do not have that money. They are on the breadline, and that's why I want to do what we can to reduce the impact on those who can afford it least, while actually the rest of us who can afford a bit more actually work for all of our future. So I'll leave it there. You please read my submission. I put a lot of work into it, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thanks, Marie. It was a really helpful submission, and I appreciate the urgency that you're telling us about these things. And some of us around the table totally agree with you that we've got to act. We've got to lead, really, in this area. We're doing our best. Has anybody got a question? Don't want to take up all the time. Such a clear submission. Thank you.
Okay.
So, what are we doing now? Another break.
Just wondered, you know, how we're keeping like an action tracker thing. Can we get some information to people about what's actually happening with Wheels to Wings and the NZTA funding? Because people keep saying it's being delayed, but my understanding is the funding is the issue. It's not the delay, it's the funding timing is different to what people expected.
Oh, is that right?
So we resolved to defer it for up to 12 months based on some new information, which that is that our funding within the financial year had gone from, no, the calendar year, I think, had gone from, because it's how Wakatahi do it, had gone from possible to unlikely, so it hadn't been cancelled. But the likelihood of us getting funding ahead of that 12 months is still high. So,
Yep, 11:30 back. Sam, have you got a minute? You got a minute?
Yeah. Can I ring you? I just need to go and drop something off.
No, no, that's cool.
Is it fair enough?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Phil said you talked about. Oh,
Yes.
have we stopped?
Yep.